Have you ever heard of spiritual gluttony, where you are over consuming things that overstimulate your body to the point where you can't even hear your own calling? We're going to talk about it today. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Oh my goodness, it's spring. Y'all heard that right? It's spring. Baby, listen, I am feeling so good. You know what I've noticed? Every time I have a breakthrough the night before, it's like the sun comes out the next morning as a reward for me. It's kind of like, Shayla, you did the work on a rainy day. Let me bless you with some sun. Yes, to the sun. If you do not know me, my name is Shay. This is Sips with Shay, and I thank you to all of my returning subscribers. I missed you, boo. I missed you. And to all of my new subscribers, welcome. This is a safe space. I do not look at you as followers because you do not need to be led. You have everything, everything that you need. It's Sunday. I'm feeling it. It's Sunday today, and I think it's happening. It's happening. That's what's happening. So if you feel this energy, this energy is real, and it's an embodiment of who I be. Okay. First and foremost, your girl is drinking some tea, and yeah, guess what I'm drinking? Let me tell you. I'm drinking hibiscus mulberry orange tea. Oh my, it is. Spring gives me flavors that are so different from the winter. Like in the winter, I like my cinnamon, I like my cloves. You know, you like your spices, my cayenne, my pepper. But in the spring, we getting close to summer. I need my berries. I need my hibiscus. You know, I need my elderberries, my elderberries. This tea is doing it for me. We're doing it. But the tea of discussion for this episode is actually the colon cleansing tea. I will put that information in the description box. Why? Because we are talking about gluttony. Oh, do you know about gluttony? Do you know what gluttony is? Listen. I know that some of us may know what gluttony is, but have you ever heard of spiritual gluttony? So I was doing this reading some time ago, and I was just curious about the 7 deadly sins, and one of the sins was gluttony. I might do a video on that later, like all the 7 sins, but anywho, I was reading up on gluttony, and why did gluttony hit me so hard? Because I've battled with gluttony. Now I know y'all looking at me like this girl's too skinny. Battle where? Don't judge. Don't do that. What happened was I noticed because I was small that I would overconsume because I wasn't gaining the weight like everybody else was, okay? I thought that it was okay to just eat until I was like really, really full to the point where I wanted to go to sleep. And I realized when I was reading the 7 deadly sins or when I was doing some research, it was like, oh my gosh, I am being distracted. I am being taken over by something that is overpowering me. So what is gluttony? Gluttony, in the way that I define it, is the overconsumption of food, okay? Like you're overeating. Not you're just eating because you're hungry. No, that's normal, right? You need to eat to live. But when you're overeating, that means that you're eating to a point where you're at your peak, and then you extend yourself above that peak to the point where now you feel like, oh, I can't, I'm feeling tired. You got the itis, as they say, or you feel uneasy. It's like you stretched your organs to the max of capacity. Usually this happens when people are eating mindlessly. Mindless eating occurs when you're watching TV, you're talking on the phone, you're acting in something where your mind is focused on something other than eating consciously. In China, if I'm correct, they eat with no conversation, no TV. They all eat at the table and they don't even talk. It is quiet. And I love that concept because what they're saying is we are being mindful and grateful and conscious of what we're eating. We're chewing slowly. We're mindful of how we're chewing. We're swallowing small portions, right? And I know in the Black community, we overeat, we overextend ourselves. We get the itis. Don't talk about Thanksgiving. Don't talk about Sunday dinner. Sunday dinners in some people's homes is Thanksgiving every Sunday, just a feast. And then people are tired and they're drowsy and then they're constipated. They don't poop. They don't use the bathroom as they should. And I started thinking about that in a spiritual sense. I started to realize that if you eat food, physical food, and you're eating past the capacity that you are able to digest it in a timely fashion, then you you become constipated, right? And then when you become constipated and it's actually time to poop, you're not releasing as much as you should, which means that some of the food is getting fermented, right? And when this food gets fermented in your system, what happens is it starts to release toxins. These toxins can cause the blood to get toxified. It can cause your brain to start rewiring itself to have darker thoughts, darker emotions, very confused, right? And a lot of people that I've been noticing, because I had this conversation with myself and I had this conversation with other people, and I was like, have y'all noticed the mentality of people? It's like it's getting low. Like there's more and more information about how to be a better person and how to help yourself and this and that. And it wasn't like this before, but also the food wasn't like this before. And I started to associate food with mental clarity, with spiritual advancement. A lot of people, and if this applies to you, then let it. And if it doesn't, it's okay. But a lot of people overconsume in both physical sense, eating food, and spiritual sense, what they are consuming with social media, with the music, with the conversations they engage in. We get fed in multiple ways. It's not just what you eat, it is also what you spiritually consume. Just like if you eat 4 burgers, you're going to start to overextend your body and it's going to at some point start to slow down. That's the same way with if you extend your body on too much ratchetness and crazy this and the news media telling you somebody else got shot and another and all of this, it starts to overextend you and overstimulate. See, a lot of people are overstimulated because they're constipated with the gluttony of over consuming things that did not mean them well in the first place. Let me say this. It is okay to watch things for understanding. It is okay to watch things for knowledge. It is okay to seek things for answers. That is okay. But when you get to a point where now you can't even hear your own thoughts, you can't even articulate how to get yourself from point A to point B, you might be in a spiritual gluttony situation. You might be battling things that are too piled up in your system, and now you need to do a spiritual detoxification. Just like when the colon is too backed up because you're eating consistently and you're only using the bathroom twice a day, but you ate 7 times a day. It's the same way you need to detoxify your spirit. The best way to detoxify your spirit is to do a cleaning out of old things, right? When you do a detox with your colon, what you do is you take a very powerful laxative or a purgative, right? And you drink it, you consume it. And what it does is it starts to break down things from years ago, from months ago, and it cleanses you out. And if you notice, a lot of people feel lighter and happier. It's like that migraine from months has went away. You know, they have more energy. They can do what they need to do. That is the same way in the spiritual sense. When you have spiritual gluttony, you need something powerful enough to reset you. And what are the things that are powerful enough to reset you? Being still, removing yourself from things that have been distracting you, removing yourself from your cell phone, removing yourself from listening to negative energies, to listening to people, removing yourself from consuming things that mean you no good to the extent where you can no longer focus. I think one of the best things to do to really give yourself a spiritual cleanse is to isolate yourself with yourself and what you believe to be true. You understand? Because a lot of people are really battling with their calling. A lot of people are really feeling annoyed and frustrated and depressed due to the fact that they feel like they should be further. And the reality is you might actually be right. You might be, or you might supposed to be. I feel like I'm messing that sentence up. But if you believe that you are supposed to be further, then there is obviously something in you that you notice is holding you back. And I want to be honest with you, it might be a parasite. It might be literally a parasite that is in your body that is causing your mind to think that it is not capable, it is not able. And every day you wrestle with this parasite morning and night on, I know I should be further, I know I should be there, so why can't I get there? Well, my love, you might have spiritual gluttony. You might have a parasite. There actually is a parasite, toxoplasma. That is what it's called. And you get it from eating uncooked meat. You get it from eating seafood. It has infected the sea animals. It is in meats and cattle and things of that nature. And when you eat it and you don't clean your food properly and all of that, when you consume these foods, it does take root in your colon and your large and small intestine. And guess what it does, people? It starts to affect your mental clarity, your mental capacity. You start to feel very depressed, very dark in thought, very weak in your energy, very uncentered in where you're supposed to go. And you may feel it if you're really tapped in. You may know I should be somewhere, but there feels as though there is something holding me back. Well, there actually might be something that you do not see, but you can feel crawling in your body that is holding you back. And I believe that a lot of people have spiritual constipation. Spiritual constipation to me is when you overconsume too much of self-help books, too much of things that's going to help you, and you overconsume them to the point where you're constipated and you don't know what to do because you've consumed so much. Water is good for you, right? When you drink water when you're thirsty, it hydrates you. It weighs the food down. You use the bathroom and you feel good. But what happens if we drink too much water? The same thing that can be good for us can now start to create a problem. We start to feel like we're about to pop. I don't need no more water. I'm good. Well, the same thing can happen when you overconsume things that are meant to help you. There's a lot of you that have maybe 100+ self-help books, or maybe 50 or whatever self-help books. You've been to all the seminars, all the retreats. You've been doing therapy, all this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And now you're constipated with everybody else's thoughts and all these books that tell you what to do and how to do, and you don't even know where to start because you've overconsumed. See, the goal is just like when you eat, you're supposed to defecate around a certain amount of time. Just that works the same way with spiritual energies. When you receive something that is good for your spirit, whether it's a self-help book, whether it's a one-on-one reading, whatever it is, you now need to take time to allow it to break down into you and then do what you're supposed to do with that information. The worst thing to do is to now take that information and then be like, wait, I need more information. Okay, I need more information. Yet you haven't even exercised what you just learned. Some of y'all have already gotten y'all breakthrough, but you were looking for more clarification on something you already knew, and now you have spiritual constipation because you were battling with spiritual gluttony. The goal is to be gentle with yourself. Allow your body to go through the same process it takes when you're eating, the same process with spiritual digestion. Allow it to be consumed inside of you, right? Allow it to be broken down into your body. Let it get in your bloodstream. Let it go to your mind, and then take the meat and throw away the bone. Meaning, take what applies to you, and whatever doesn't, let it fly. Let it go, and then start to move in accordance with what you've learned. You understand? I really do believe that more people are stuck based off of spiritual gluttony and spiritual constipation versus they really do not know. I think, more people know, they just don't know what to do. So let me help you. You need to do a spiritual fast. You need to do a spiritual fast. You need to look at the things that you over consume, whether it's hours on social media, whether it's hours on reading self-help books, whether it's hours on hours looking at tarot readings, getting anything that where you realize I'm starting to become too codependent on this to sustain my life. I'm starting to indulge too much. I'm getting confused now. I don't know where to go. Because see, some of y'all can get so attached and addicted to self-help books that you fear what would happen if you actually start to implement. And you don't want to get there. You don't want to become codependent on something that was just meant to awaken parts of you. Because when you get when you become codependent on something that was meant to literally just help you, right? You start to rely on everything that it says, and then you start to lose pieces of you. You start to lose what was your calling, what was your desire, what was your wants, what was your needs, because you're now trying to compliment the book that you read or the seminar you went to, that you really start to lose who you are at the essence. And I want to tell you, you don't have to lose you. You just need to cleanse you. You need to sit in your silence. See, one thing that gluttony taught me is it's a fear mentality. We overeat because there's a part of us that fears that we may not get this food again. We might not experience this experience again. So let me just take it in. Let me just eat it all, right? There's a fear with that. That's the same way with spiritual gluttony. We don't know where we're going. So let me just take in everything. I don't know where to start. So let me just read everything. Let me consume everything. I don't know, but let me get another self-help book. And the goal is, if we can rewire our mind when we're eating to say, I am full. And I don't want to be full to the point where I can't walk and I'm tired, or I fear that I'm not going to get this experience again. I understand that I was able to eat good this moment, so I'll be able to eat good another moment, period. Release the fear of missing out, the fear that it may not happen. When you have spiritual gluttony, it's the same thing. There is a fear that you're not going to get to your calling and you need all this assistance, all this help to guide you. When in reality, at some point you got to say, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on me. I'm going to take a chance on me and I'm going to see what I can do. So what I want to give you today is breathe into you. If you are feeling spiritually constipated, and if you notice you have spiritual gluttony, sit with yourself. And if you don't know where to start, you can always work with me. Absolutely. I might be having a course or sessions, because I know some people will call me once and they're like, dang, I want to do it again. I might have that available, but at the moment, you can contact me directly. We can speak one-on-one and find out where your spiritual constipation is. Also, if you are dealing with gluttony on a physical level where you're really consuming and you're like, I can't lose this weight, I'm not using the bathroom as much, I am constipated, I have all these migraines and headaches, I do have a colon cleansing tea that is highly effective. It does not cause stomach cramping because I have flax seeds in it as well, which is a mucilagen, which helps with the colon. It basically coats the colon so that you don't have that tight, irritating pain that usual laxatives may give you. It's also based with senna and rhubarb root and other herbs that help really clean out the colon and the large and small intestine in a very kind and gentle way. So if you want that tea, I will put that information in the description box below. And again, you can heal, you can recover from spiritual gluttony and physical gluttony, but first we have to see, what are you constipated with that you do not want to be unclogged from? Once we figure that out, you will be on your way. Until next time, peace.